Hello, I'm Rosie King from Corporate Training Options. Welcome to today's technology webinar on Microsoft Teams. Our presenter today is Mel Reid, an expert in Microsoft Teams, and I'm going to hand over to Mel now. Enjoy your session. Thanks.
How's that? You can change your backgrounds. So at this point, I think I've got my New York apartment. We're moving into the training room. So now I'm going to change my background. You guys might want to have a bit of a play with that as well. That's a bit of fun. And you can maximize your screen. You can do some other really fun stuff there. You can create a chat on the side. So if you've got a meeting with lots of different people in it, then everyone on the call can start contributing to the call. If you've got a question, please at any time ask your question. So how did I get that? That was with the conversation tab. It's a speech bubble. The next one along there is if you want to see who's participating. So how many people are on the call. You can see that there's 12 people on the call today, and you can see whether they're muted or not. You don't need to take a roll call anymore. As the owner as the presenter, you can mute all. Then that kind of just gives you that functionality for video calls. I then like to take you through this navigation area down the side. First one is activities, which is kind of like your news feed in Facebook or LinkedIn. So I can very easily see anything that that I've been working on at a high level. I don't really use it that much, but it's kind of useful for some people. I've then got all my my chats, and I can create a chat here, which is a new room, and I can call this with Rosie. And because I've been chatting with Rosie before, it comes up again, and I can type messages to Rosie. I've got all these functions down here. So if I want to attach a file from my computer and share with Rosie, I can go back to my desktop. I can add a logo. Oh, don't open that, by the way, it's an exe file. I can add a file, we can share the file, we can do all those really groovy things. The thing that most people like to know about Teams is when you create a team, you create a OneDrive area. You also create a SharePoint, an area that you can chat in. So here's the chat. You can then use files and create and share files. You can use it as you would any other repository and create folders, and then you can upload these into the folders, and then anyone that's on the call should be able to start So if anyone was to be in this, so I think Rosie, if you're in here, or Blake, you might be able to go into that document. You find it here. You'll find it in Ken's team under General, and then you open up that one. And then you can open that up and then add your name.
You have to...
Who's in there? You can manage the team, you can add members. So, Rosie, you can go into this team here. Go into the general.
Yep, I've done that.
Files. I can open that again. You can see how easily I'm opening this. So Rosie's doing this at the same time I am. So this is really what we call collaboration. So now I can have up to 250 people logging into this document and editing it at the same time. And as we are writing it, as we're typing in here, it's actually saving in real time. So all of those times that you had versions of 1.1 and 1.3 and 15.3 and all those versions, this is now the master document. And you can do this with any of the Microsoft Office documents. So you can do that with Word or PowerPoint or Excel. And you can imagine, you know, your whole team being able to view and edit at the same time. It's just a really good collaboration tool. And it all will sit within your files in there. So let me take us into this test training because we set this up for that. So that's the files there. You've then got this thing called a wiki. Now, I generally change the name of that. And I normally call it, you know, helpful links or helpful notes or something like that. And so in here, I can, it's basically a OneNote page, and I can add all my notes, maybe meeting notes, etc. I can do all of that. And I can add links if I want to add a URL, and the content will go in there. I can then add tabs. Microsoft has given us a whole suite of apps that we can use that are completely integrated into Teams. So one of the things that two of the main things that I use are forms. So if I'm creating any surveys, I can create a form called feedback. And I can add that. Actually, I think we started one, didn't we, Rosie? Let's go back into here. So I've got a feedback form here. And I can see, and so what I've done here is been able to create a feedback and evaluation form. I've set all the questions here. These are multiple choice. I can add more questions if I want. It's got multiple choice, free text, ratings, dates. I can do drop downs, ranking, Leichhardt. If there's people from education on here, you could create assessments, etc. And then send off the link to people. They would then complete it. And then you would be able to review all the responses and open them up in an Excel sheet. It's a really good function. I love it. The other thing that for people on the call that are doing projects or streams of work, there's a product here called Planner, and it is this one here. And a planner, and some people on the call may have used Trello before, and this is what we call a Kanban or a planner. So I've got our to-do, in progress, complete. I can create a task for someone. Due date, assign it to anyone that's on the team or more, add the task, open up the task, and I've got this great detail here. The detail could be, so obviously this is to do, it hasn't started, so I'm opening it up. I'm Rosie now, I'm opening it up, I'm changing the progress, I'm giving it another rating, I'm saying it's going to start here. I can start this today, I can add some notes. Or I can add a checklist of items. And I can show that on the card itself. Once I then add my message, it will then get sent to Rosie. Rosie will then receive it. She'll come to this, she'll click on the link, it'll bring her back to this page. Rosie will open it up, and she'll make all of her amendments. She'll make her notes, record that, and then you've got your audit trail down here. And then you can simply just drop and drag that into progress. And when she's done, she can drag that into there, add her notes, click on complete. So that's my high level view of Teams. Are there any questions from people on the call? Feel free to ask away. All right, well, how about we do this? How about if I go to my form, I can copy the form and share that with everyone. Free to complete that. Thank you for joining the call, and I'll hand it back to Rosie. And you're muted, Rosie.
Thanks, Mal. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today. We did have a few technology issues, so we'll get those sorted out for next time. But great overview of Microsoft Teams, and looking forward to seeing you all again on our next webinar. Thank you very much, everyone.